In 2025, Tesla lost the top spot it had held since the very first year reliable EV data existed. Not to Volkswagen, not to a Silicon Valley startup, to a Chinese battery company that almost nobody in the West had heard of 5 years earlier. BYD sold 2.3 million electric vehicles that year. Tesla sold 1.6 million. That gap, 600,000 cars, is bigger than Ford's entire EV output for the same period. This is the story of global electric vehicle sales from 2018 to 2026. 8 manufacturers, 9 years, and one of the fastest reshufflings of industrial power in modern history. Back in 2018, the global EV market was tiny. Combined, every manufacturer on this list sold fewer than 400,000 battery electric vehicles. Tesla alone held more than half the entire market, 51.9%, on just 200,000 units. The industry was basically one company and a handful of experiments. Watch what happens when you animate the rankings year by year. In 2018, Tesla and BYD are nearly tied, both at 200,000 units. Then 2019 hits and Tesla pulls away hard, reaching 400,000 sales while BYD drops to 200,000. Why? BYD's Chinese government subsidies get cut, and demand collapses almost overnight. Volkswagen enters the chart for the first time, already at number 3. By 2020, Volkswagen is surging. It nearly doubles its output to 200,000 units and briefly looks like the legitimate challenger to Tesla's crown. Tesla itself crosses 500,000 deliveries for the first time, a milestone the company had been chasing for years. 2021 is where the real story starts. Tesla nearly doubles in a single year, from 500,000 to 936,000 deliveries. That is an almost unprecedented growth rate for a company selling physical hardware at that scale. But the more important event happens quietly at BYD. The company makes a structural decision. It stops making gasoline cars and goes all in on electric. That pivot looks obvious in hindsight. At the time, it looked like a bet that could destroy the company. BYD's all-electric pivot paid off faster than almost anyone predicted. Within 2 years of that restructuring decision, BYD would go from selling 300,000 EVs a year to 1.6 million. That is a 5x increase in 24 months. For context, it took Tesla 6 years to achieve the same growth. From 2022 to 2024, the chart reshuffles dramatically. In 2022, BYD rockets from 300,000 to 900,000 units, tripling in a single year. Tesla grows too, crossing 1.3 million. But BYD is now closing the gap at speed. Volkswagen, which looked like a serious contender at 600,000 units, starts fading. Its share drops from 15% in 2022 to just 7.8% in 2023 as the German industrial machine struggles to convert legacy plants to EV production fast enough. Geely, the Chinese parent of Volvo and Polestar, quietly climbs from 5th to 3rd by 2023, reaching 500,000 units. Nobody is talking about Geely, but it is now larger than Volkswagen's entire EV division. Then comes the moment. 2024. BYD hits 1.8 million units. Tesla also hits 1.8 million units. They are essentially tied, but BYD's trajectory is pointing up and Tesla's is pointing sideways. For 6 consecutive years, Tesla held the number 1 spot. No other manufacturer came close. Then in 2024, BYD matched Tesla unit for unit E, and in 2025, the throne changed hands. The era of Tesla's uncontested dominance was over. 2025 is the dramatic peak of this entire dataset. BYD reaches 2.3 million EVs sold, its highest single year ever, and a number that gives it 36.1% of the entire global market tracked here. Meanwhile, Tesla drops 10%, falling from 1.8 million to 1.6 million. That is not a plateau. That is a decline. Tesla's share of this market shrinks from 32% to 26% in 1 year. For any company that has been growing for a decade straight, a 10% volume drop is a genuine shock, and it pushed Tesla to second place for the first time in the dataset's history. If you look at market share as a line chart instead of a bar race, the picture becomes even clearer. Tesla's share line is a long, slow descent, from nearly 52% in 2018 all the way down to 26% in 2025. BYD's line is a volatile roller coaster. It crashes from 48% in 2018 down to just 12% in 2020 when subsidies dry up, then rockets back up to 36% by 2025. The rest of the manufacturers, Volkswagen, Hyundai-Kia, Geely, GM, Stellantis, Ford, collectively fill in the space below, none of them individually ever breaking 15%. The market is fragmenting, but it is still a two-horse race at the top. Then 2026 throws a curveball. Tesla claws back the number one spot, but not by growing. BYD actually falls from 2.3 million to 1.2 million units, a near halving that the data attributes partly to intensifying price competition from newer Chinese brands eating into BYD's home market. Tesla at 1.4 million reclaims first, but it is weaker than it was in 2024. Both leaders are contracting. The real story of 2026 is in the middle of the pack. Geely holds third at 800,000 units. Chinese EV exports are surging globally, and GM, after years of false starts, finally crosses 200,000 BEVs and moves up to sixth. Even Ford and Stellantis each reach 200,000 units. The bottom of the chart is catching up even as the top is volatile. Tesla's 2026 number one ranking deserves an asterisk. Winning because your main rival contracted is not the same as winning because you grew. Tesla's 2026 volume of 1.4 million is actually lower than its 2023 peak. The crown is back on BYD, but the kingdom is smaller. Here is what this dataset actually tells you. The EV race is not over. It just stopped being a coronation. From 2018 to 2022, Tesla was running a victory lap. From 2023 onward, it is a genuine competition. BYD proved that a Chinese manufacturer could build, price, and sell EVs at a scale that matches or beats the company that invented the modern category. Volkswagen proved that legacy automakers can struggle even when they try to pivot. And Geely proved that you can climb to the top 3 globally without most Western consumers knowing your name. The next few years will determine whether this market settles into a BYD-Tesla duopoly, or whether the middle of the pack, GM, Hyundai-Kia, Geely, finally breaks through. Either way, the data from 2025 already changed the story permanently. Thanks for watching.